Hello and good day to everyone. Today my group will present about language function and useful expression in conducting a meeting. My group consists of 6 members, which is me, Dina Haikal, Rifki Rahman, Aimi Yusrina, Aisyah Shakira, Nur Hidayah and Shazin Ariana. Firstly, chairperson opens the meeting. The chairperson welcomes everyone and then starts the meetings at the appropriate times. The usual expressions is thank you for coming or welcome to our meeting. Secondly, chairperson proceeds to the next meetings. After discussing the current topics, the chairperson can choose to move to the next topic that they want to discuss. The usual expression is we shall now proceed to deal with the next item or agenda. Then apologize for absence. They announce prior to the meeting that they will be able to attend the meetings. Apologize for absence were received from Mr. X and Mr. Y. Next, minutes of meeting. The instant written records of the meeting or hearings. The usual expression is now call upon the secretary to read the meetings of the last meetings or or please read the minutes that have been distributed by the secretary. Then correspondence. Letter that have been sent to the meetings are tabled and debated. If the meeting wish to do so, the useful expressions for correspondence is Miss Secretary, do we have any correspondence? Or Miss Secretary, could you please go through the correspondence? I will pass for the next presenter. Thank you.
The next language function is special business. Special business means business other than ordinary business to be transacted at an annual general meeting, and all business to be transacted at any other general meeting. For example, for the useful expression, it is now let's get started with our main purpose, which is special business. So today we are going to discuss about special business. Next is proposing motions. The meaning is to formally suggest an idea or plan at a meeting. For example, for the expression is Mr. Chairperson, I propose that to plan a meeting during this weekend, or I wish to support Mr. Abu's motion or proposal. The next language function is opposing a motion. An opposing motion means motion made seeking to have the request made in the opposing party prior motion denied. For example, for the useful expression is I oppose to the one of the committee members for the facts and information that is provided. Next is voting. Voting is the action or process of indicating choice, opinion or will on a question, such as choosing of a candidate. For example, for the expression is shall we put this matter to a vote? Or other example is will all those against the motion raise your hands? Lastly is resolution. Resolution means that the act or process of resolving or separating something into constituent or elementary parts. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next language function is advising and suggesting. Advice is to tell them what you think they should do. Meanwhile, suggest is produce an idea in our mind. For me, expression of vocabulary that's suitable to use in advice are we should or why don't you. And for suggest are how or what about or I suggest or recommend that. Next is clarifying. Clarifying is to make something clear or easy to understand by giving more details or simpler explanation. The useful expression that we can use is have I made that clear? Do you see what I'm getting at? Let me put this another way, or I just like to repeat that. After that, requesting information. Requesting information is to ask facts about situation or person or event politely or officially. The expression or vocabulary we can use are I would like you to, or would you mind, or I wonder if you could. Then asking for repetition. Asking for repetition is to put question or request to do or say something again from someone. The useful expression that I can suggest are I didn't catch that. Could you repeat that, please? Or I missed that. Could you say it again, please? Or could you run that by me one more time? Next is asking for clarification. Asking for clarification means to put question or request on explanation or more details that make something clear or easier to understand. The useful expression that I can suggest are I am afraid that I don't quite understand what you are getting at. Could you explain to me how that is going to work? Or I don't see what you mean. Could you have some more detail, please?
One of the language functions in a meeting is asking for verification. Verification is the process of proving the truth, accuracy, or validity of something. It is always a good thing to verify and make sure that the information and the spelling you have or that the other person in the conversation has is correct. Some of the ways to ask for verification and spelling are, do you mean that? Or would you mind spelling that for me, please? And next is asking for contributions for other participants. It is important to encourage participation during meetings because it keeps all employees engaged in the discussions, which can lead to valuable decisions and ideas. You can ask them to contribute by asking questions such as, what do you think about this proposal? Has anyone else got anything to contribute or would you like to add anything? Other than that is correcting information. Correcting information is important because you can prevent yourself and others from making a mistake based on false or misunderstood information. You can simply say, sorry, that's not quite right, or that's not what I meant when you want to correct any information during the meeting. Aside from that is keeping the meeting on time. Starting the meeting on time will allow you to use the full minutes and hours available to achieve the agenda of the meeting. And ending a meeting on time, even if you have more agenda items to cover, shows that you not only respect your time, but others' time as well. You can say, please be brief, or I think we better leave that for another meeting when we are running out of time.
Firstly, interrupting means interfering with someone else's action. Interrupting others while they are speaking requires ethics in order to avoid being disrespectful. For example, excuse me for interrupting and may I have a word? I believe that everyone, regardless of age, requires this ethic to demonstrate that we respect one another. Secondly, any other business. Typically, business meetings conclude with the chairperson asking whether there is any other business. Anyone participating has the ability to propose a subject that is not on the agenda, and it will be asked when matters that need to be discussed in the meeting have been covered, such as, shall we close this discussion for now and move to any other business? Thirdly, choosing a date is one of the first stages in planning. It is a critical stage that can determine the success or failure of your meeting. It is frequently and incorrectly underestimated. The ability to keep the discussion on track is the most significant benefit of establishing a date and time in advance. This can assist to ensure the meeting time is spent wisely. Typically, this is asked after a meeting discussion has been concluded, such as you will be notified about the details of the next meeting. And lastly, when there is nothing to talk about and everything on the agenda has been discussed, the meeting is said to be closed. To properly finish the meeting, give clarity by summarizing the key meeting topics and addressing any questions agenda on action items and due dates, and end in a pleasant tone by thanking the participants, such as "Thank you for taking part, everyone. Until we meet again in the next meeting, I hereby declare the meeting has been postponed."
Report. The definition for report is to give a description of something or information about something to someone. For example, we call the police to report thief. So for the example in the company is we give the report to the chairman about the task that we have to do. Okay, so I will continue to the next part, which is giving opinion. The definition for giving opinion is to offer an idea, opinion, or reason. The important for giving opinion is so that people can discuss it to make a decision clearly. For example, you giving an opinion in the meeting room to the chairman so that they can proceed to make a decision to choose your idea or another idea. Second is asking for opinion. So the definition for asking for opinion is an opinion poll involves asking people opinion on a particular subject, especially one concerning politics. For example, do you really think that the topic that you are discuss? Number 3 is commenting on other opinion. The definition for commenting on the other opinion is a remark or observation made in criticism or an expression of opinion. So that from commenting on other opinion can make the decision, can help chairman to choose the ideas perfectly, because the commenting is needed in the meeting. So the last one for my part is agreeing. Agreeing is agree mean to come into or be in harmony regarding a matter in opinion. Okay, so agree implies complete accord, usually attained by discussion and adjustment of differences. On some points, we all can agree. Concur often implies approval of someone else's statement of decision.